Hello and welcome to Two Car Pros. Today we are taking a look at how to replace your headlight lens assembly for a 2005 Ford Focus, and subsequently this is also how you change the headlight bulb because it's all kind of one thing that needs to come out together. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, before we remove any headlight lens, we're going to need to remove these three fasteners that hold the top of the front of the grille on, because the grille sort of holds the entire thing in place. So the way these fasteners work is the threads hold it in place, so you need to, what worked for me is pulling up on it while I unscrew with a Phillips head screwdriver, because before when I span them the threads weren't catching. This one did, but the one on the far left did not. That's why having one of these body clip pullers are insanely handy to have. With those removed, we can remove the top here. We'll expose these two 10 millimeter bolts that hold the grille on. So we can go ahead and remove these bolts. But you're not out of the woods yet. There's two body clips here, and right here, that are holding this sucker in still. So we need to get rid of those. If you don't have a body clip puller, I suggest getting one, or a standard screwdriver if you have some patience. There we go. So we just slide it out front like this, and the grille's out of the way. So I can hear your comments already that you don't need to remove the grille. If you can get it out of there without damaging the grille, good for you, but when I tried, it was catching on the grille, so that was a problem. So if you don't have to remove it, good for you, but I did as a precaution, and it was necessary for me. So next we can undo these 10 millimeter bolts, and the unit should come loose. And we can reach back there and unplug everything we need to. So on this connector here, all I did was push down on that little tang and pulled straight out. Now this one I just pulled straight out. I wasn't sure if there was a safety. It looks like there's supposed to be one right here, but it wasn't for me. It was on this one though. So here's the two headlights side by side on my workbench here. Got to make sure they're identical and see if there's any hardware that needs to be transferred over. But this new one has everything included, so that's really nice. As you can see, they're exactly the same. It even comes with this nice film, but we're going to leave the film on until after it's installed so we don't goof it up while we're working. So let's go ahead and replace it. So when we're replacing our unit here, we need to make sure that those plugs we unplugged earlier are on the correct orientation, and they only really go one way. And you just push them straight on. As long as they're correct, they'll go on. And this can go back in place like that. But before we do anything else, we need to get in the vehicle and turn the lights on to make sure everything works. And as you can see, the headlight and turn signal both function, so now we can bolt it back in place. Okay, so we can install the grille the exact way we removed it here. Like that. Make sure these are in their homes. Put these clips back in. We need to replace those two 10 millimeters. Very cool. And then we need to replace this plastic piece here that kind of wedges in between everything. Let's see. There we go. So when you're reattaching these pins here, you pull the thread part out of the body and screw it back in as you push it in. Alright, so here is the adjuster. It's a Phillips head, and I'm going to be referring to it quite often coming up here in a little bit on how to align all this stuff. I'm using a power drill here to expedite the process, so you're going to hear that going off a little bit. Now before we start, we need to turn the headlights on in order to adjust them. I'm going to turn the car on so the headlights don't drain the battery, because it might take me a little bit. Alright, so the car is about 25 feet away from this wall here. You need to measure up about 4 feet on that adjacent wall over there. The car needs to be perfectly perpendicular to it, and we need to raise these headlights until they crest about 4 feet on that wall. So here's a great diagram if you don't quite catch my drift. And now I'm going to use my power drill here to change those adjuster screws up and down. Alright, so you can see on the right, the beam is a little bit more corrected. It might be a teeny bit high, but that looks pretty solid. The beam on the left, however, this one here, that is not right. That's not correct. There's something wrong or defective with this lens. I'm going to have to return it because every time I try to adjust it, the adjuster just pops out. So that just tells you how well this thing is made. Not very. So it's basically how you adjust them. It's more of an art than a science. I know there's a particular way to do it. That's why I showed you the diagram earlier. But again, more of an art than a science. If they look a little high, they're probably a little high. If they're a little low, they're probably a little low. I can tell you the one on the left, this one is definitely way too low. This one might be a teeny bit high, but this one's definitely way too low. So follow the diagram, you'll do great. So that's how to replace your headlight lens assembly for a Ford Focus from 2005. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed and ring that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.